The idea that to live well is easy is a relatively recent one. Not that there were not always people who felt that if they achieved pleasure, power, and wealth that they would be happy, and that what they had to learn was not how to live well, but how to be successful enough to acquire the means to the end of living well. But in contrast to those individuals and groups who practiced the principle of radical hedonism, virtually all cultures had their masters of living and their masters of thinking, who proclaimed that to live well was an art that had to be learned, that the learning of this art required effort, devotion, understanding, and patience, that it was the most important art to learn. Today, in contrast, those who teach man how to live, the psychologists, sociologists, and politicians, declare that it is easy to learn. In fact, there is hardly anything to learn about it beyond reading some how-to-do-it books. What has brought about this amazing change and led to the belief that it is easy to learn how to live, that the only difficult thing to learn is how to make a living? Part of the answer lies in the practice of the machine civilization, in which handwork is replaced by the servicing of machines. To make a shoe or a table was a difficult task, which one had to study for many years in order to become a master. The producers of shoes or tables who use the machine perform no difficult task. They do not have to study for years until they can function. Fewer and fewer highly skilled jobs require training that could be compared with that of a master carpenter. The same simplicity dominates the field of consumption. Cooking, driving a car, taking pictures. Almost all acts of consumption can be accomplished with little skill, effort, or concentration, provided you follow the simple rules of instruction. Why should living be an art? Why should it take so much effort to learn it, when everything else is done so simply, when any child can create a whole world by pushing the button of the television set? Yet, living is not simple. We are endowed with a few instinctive desires whose satisfaction is necessary for the survival of the individual or the species, and in this respect we do not differ from the animal. But unlike the animal, we are not endowed with a built-in total instinctive equipment that tells us how to act in the general conduct of life, with a blueprint for living well. If our actions were determined by our biological necessities, we would act rationally, and, to mention one example, not kill each other for honor, fame, or wealth, but cooperate for the sake of survival. If our actions were determined by reason, all would be well. But our thinking is too easily the handmaid of our selfish interests and irrational passions to be a reliable guide to the art of living.